What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Fantasy Tomorrow. Today we're going over 5 tips that can help you dominate your snake draft. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, step number 1, and that is know your rules. Knowing the rules and settings of your league is essential to having a successful draft. Is your league a standard, half PPR, or full PPR league? Does your team do tight end premium scoring or reward more points than normal for passing touchdowns? What will your starting lineup look like each week? Are you in a 2-quarterback league? How many teams are in your league and how many players can you have on your bench? The answers to all of these questions will factor into the values of players and positions in your draft and can completely change the way your draft will play out. So know the rules and settings so that you aren't completely caught off guard. Step number 2, mock draft. Once you know the rules to your league, try to get in as much practice as possible by doing mock drafts that have similar settings to your league. If you know which spot you will be drafting at, get familiar with that spot so that you can have a good idea of which players will be available once the draft gets to you each round. If you don't know which spot you're going to be drafting from, try to get familiar with as many spots as possible. Use this time to experiment with different plans and strategies to see which one tends to give you the best looking team. And stay until the end of the draft if you can, as some of the most important choices you'll make for your team will be in the latter half of the draft. They say that practice makes perfect, and that is absolutely true when it comes to drafting. Step number 3, make tiers. It's always good to have rankings that you trust to go off of, whether those are rankings that you've made yourself, or maybe you're using the rankings of your preferred site. But what can really set you apart is separating players into tiers by position. This allows you to keep an eye on how many players are left in a certain tier so that you can grab one in a higher tier before you're stuck with someone in a lower tier. If you need some help with this, go and check out our other videos where we not only rank quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, but we also put them into tiers for you. Step 4, have a plan, but be willing to adapt. It's always good to go into a draft with a plan, but if you strictly stick to it, you are likely going to be disappointed in the end. So let the draft come to you. If you come into the draft with a plan to take Lamar Jackson in the 5th round, but that one Ravens fan in your league takes him in the 1st round, don't panic, but adapt and find the value in your draft. This is where having players put into tiers can really help you because you'll be able to see where the value is in your draft and you will be able to capitalize on it. Step 5, pay attention. Don't mentally fall asleep during the later rounds of your draft. Rather, pay vigorous attention. Print out a cheat sheet, and as players are picked, cross them out on your sheet. Again, this is going to help you identify values later in your draft. So while your league mates have checked out of the draft and are swooning over their 1st round picks, get the most out of the latter half of the draft. And pay attention to how you are constructing your team, making sure that you have a good balance of consistent performers who offer a solid floor and high upside players who have limitless ceiling. By doing this, you will set your team up for success for the long run. Now, here's a review of the 5 steps. Know your rules, mock draft, make tiers, have a plan but be willing to adapt, and pay attention. And if you want, you can actually click the link in the description below so that you can download a copy of this and have it as a reference as you prepare for your draft. But guys, please subscribe for more league-winning fantasy advice and drop us a like and a comment too so that we can interact with you and answer any questions you might have. Go follow us on Twitter and on Facebook where you can interact with us over there as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.